She hadn't eaten in 2 days. Her hands trembled as she clutched the last few coins in her pocket, enough for a bus ride home, but not enough for even the cheapest thing on the menu. She sat quietly in the corner of the cafe, hoping no one would notice. But someone did. And they dragged her out in front of everyone. Humiliated, trembling, she thought the world had finally closed its doors on her. Until a single dad stood up, walked outside, and gave her the seat of honor. Backhand index pointing. Right before we dive into this unforgettable act of kindness, please like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories, because we believe one kind soul can change someone's entire world. The late autumn wind bit through Evelyn's thin jacket as she walked down the streets of downtown Milwaukee, her cheeks stinging with cold and shame. It had been exactly 47 hours since her last meal, a half-eaten granola bar she'd found at a bus stop bench. Her eyes, once full of hope and youthful dreams, now stared blankly ahead, tired from constant rejection. At 23, Evelyn had a degree in literature but nowhere to sleep and no family left to call. The small cafe on 5th Street was glowing warm, golden lights twinkling through the frosted windows. She saw people laughing inside, sipping coffee, clinking silverware. It looked like a postcard from the life she used to know. On impulse, she walked in, not to buy anything, but just to sit, to get warm, to be human again for a few minutes. She found a small seat by the window and sat down quietly, head lowered. Her shoes were scuffed, her fingers numb. A waitress with perfectly lined lips walked over, holding a notepad. "Ma'am, what would you like to order?" Evelyn offered a tired, almost apologetic smile. Just 5 minutes. I'll leave soon." The waitress gave her a quick up-down, her nose wrinkling in disapproval. "This isn't a shelter. You need to order or leave." A few heads turned toward them. Evelyn's cheeks burned red. "Please. I just needed to sit." The manager came next. A heavy-set man with a tie and a voice too loud for the small room. "Look, we have paying customers. If you're not ordering, you're loitering. Let's go." He didn't wait. He grabbed her elbow, pulling her from the chair. Her coin pouch fell, clinking softly on the floor. A few people gasped, some whispered, but no one moved. Outside, the wind felt colder than ever. Evelyn stood there, shivering, broken, not just from hunger, but from humiliation. But inside that cafe, someone had watched it all. A man sitting in the farthest corner, a little girl next to him eating a cinnamon roll. The man, Jacob, was a single dad, a mechanic by trade, and not someone who usually stepped into conflict. But something about Evelyn's eyes, the silent pain in her posture, struck a part of him that remembered what it felt like to be abandoned by everyone. Jacob stood up. He took his daughter's hand, whispered something to her, then walked straight out the cafe door. Evelyn was still standing in the cold. "Hey," he said gently. "You all right?" She nodded too fast. "Yes. I mean, yeah, I'm okay. I shouldn't have." Jacob cut her off. "Come back inside. Sit with us." She blinked. "What?" He smiled. "They can't throw you out if you're my guest. And my daughter says she doesn't want to finish her cinnamon roll unless you sit with us." The little girl peeked from behind him and gave a small wave. Evelyn hesitated, then shook her head. "I can't. I don't have money. I don't want to cause more trouble." But Jacob simply said, "Everyone deserves warmth. And dignity. Just say yes." The manager's face twisted when Jacob walked back in with Evelyn, but he didn't say a word. Not this time. Jacob walked her to the same table, pulled out the chair, and gestured for her to sit. His daughter, Emma, beamed at her like she was a guest of honor. Evelyn sat slowly, still unsure if this was real. Jacob called the waitress. Hot chocolate for her, and give her the menu. She can pick whatever she likes. My tab. Emma giggled, whispering to Evelyn, Daddy says anyone can sit with us, as long as they have a kind heart. Evelyn couldn't speak for a few seconds. Her throat tightened, eyes welling up. She stared at the menu, not even reading. I don't know what to say. Say thank you later, Jacob said gently. Right now, eat. You look like you haven't in days. As the food arrived, so did conversation. Evelyn talked, hesitantly at first, about her degree, how her parents died 2 years ago, how she lost her job during the recession and ended up on the streets. She spoke of applying, searching, trying, and failing. Jacob listened, never interrupting, only nodding. He told her his story too. How his wife passed away giving birth to Emma, how he raised his daughter on night shifts and faith, how he learned that being kind was not a luxury, but a duty. 2 hours passed like 10 minutes. For the first time in weeks, Evelyn laughed. She cried too, but they were healing tears, not hopeless ones. When she got up to leave, she hesitated. Thank you. I mean it. No one's done this for me before. Jacob took out a card from his wallet and handed it to her. My shop's address. I don't have much, but I need someone to help with bookkeeping and inventory. If you want the job, it's yours. She looked at him in stunned silence. You're serious? I'm very serious, he smiled. People forget how powerful one yes can be. Let this be yours. Evelyn walked out of the cafe, not just full, but alive again. With hope, with dignity, with a new beginning, all because one man and his little girl saw her as more than a burden. They saw her as worthy. The next morning, Evelyn stood outside Jacob's auto shop, clutching the card he gave her. Her hands were cold, but her heart was warm with cautious hope. Was this real? Was it truly a chance, or just a one-time gesture of pity? Jacob greeted her with a smile. You're right on time, he said. The office was small but clean. Her job was simple, answer phones, organize receipts, and keep inventory in check. But for Evelyn, it was more than work, it was dignity, a place to belong. Within days, her face started to glow with life again. She smiled more. She laughed with little Emma, who now sat beside her after school, drawing hearts and stars for her new best friend. One evening, while locking up, Jacob looked at Evelyn and said, You didn't just get a job here, you gave us something too. You reminded me that kindness still matters. Tears welled up in Evelyn's eyes. And you reminded me that I'm still worthy of love, respect, and second chances. What began as a quiet act of kindness became the turning point in 2 broken lives, and the start of something new, beautiful, and full of light. If this touched your heart, please like the video and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Let's keep spreading light.